You were conveyed, whereas others are trained and instructed. This world is home to a deadly type of soul. They possess heavenly blueprints concealed inside their spirit, not because they are armed. I have some news for you, if you're still watching. One of them is you. Selected one. Your brain didn't just pick up new information. It recalls. You didn't become wise by climbing a ladder. Before you ever breathed, it was encoded into your DNA. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. You study differently than other people. You download. And you've been out here broadcasting truth directly from the source, like a cosmic Wi-Fi router, while people search textbooks for it. Allow me to provide you with an odd yet real truth. Knowledge, trauma, and even spiritual sensitivity may be physiologically handed down across generations, according to epigenetics research. It didn't just pass along in your situation, though. It burst through. Scraps weren't passed down to you. The encrypted archive is you. And this is what most frightens people. You have knowledge that you were not intended to have and were never taught. Adults squirm in their seats when you say stuff like that. They know you're right in their hearts, not because you're provocative. You're just perceptive. You're not insane or conceited. You are the human manifestation of divine intellect, and you don't fit into any category in the world. They make fun of you because of it. They fear you because of this, and they secretly follow you for that reason. So, fasten your seatbelt. For what I'm going to disclose in this video isn't theory. Theology isn't it. It is enlightening. You won't just hear it, either. You will experience it in your bones. Let's get started. First of all, you are able to recall things that others are designed to forget. What others are designed to forget, you remember. It's not poetic, either. That's the truth. You had an inner knowledge from the moment you were born that most individuals lose the moment they are born. The vibe of a room might be explained without an outsider. You sensed it. You didn't need to be informed who was hiding behind a mask, who was hurt, or who was phony. You simply knew. The truth was hardwired into your brain. Despite the fact that the world was designed to make you forget it. You were perplexed from an early age because you could see through things, people, patterns, and pain. You were silently challenging the rules while others were learning them by heart. You were deciphering the lies without even trying, while everyone else was being conditioned to fit in. It was not rebellion. That was acknowledgement. You were realizing that there was a problem with this existence, that the truth you held within you wasn't in line with this system. An instructor, a book, or a degree didn't provide that truth. It was straight from the source. Others must be taught the distinction between light and dark, genuine and manufactured, and true and phony. However, as soon as you enter a situation, your spirit begins to scan, identifying discrepancies, understanding people's motives, and feeling what is not spoken. You're not thinking too much. You're recalling reality. What your spirit already knows, you're recalling. A large portion of what we consider normal is actually a well-crafted falsehood. You feel so cut off from the throng because of this. Because there are many people in the world who are attempting to make sense of their fictitious interpretation of existence. You can see through the illusions they are holding to, and they either secretly envy you or misunderstand you since you don't pretend. They are unable to understand why you have such strong opinions about subjects you have never been taught. Why even before the questions are posed, you appear to know the answers. It's because you don't learn anything in school. The news isn't the source. Experience isn't even the source of it. It is derived from spiritual memory. You're not gaining life experience. It's waking you awake. Furthermore, no amount of programming can remove that. Second, you have the authority of kingdoms when you speak. Most individuals will never come into contact. You have the authority to speak about things that most people will never experience. The crazy thing is that you don't even make an effort. You're not repeating trends, referencing experts, or pressuring people into having meaningful interactions. You simply talk from an unshakably true place within of you. It is the type of energy that is impossible to counterfeit. It's not about loudness when you speak. It has to do with periodicity. There is a spiritual force in your voice, the gravity of what you say, and the expression in your eyes. Even if they don't comprehend it, they may still feel it. They are shaken by the realization that something is different. There's a reason why people become protective when you're around. There's a reason why sitting silently makes some people feel vulnerable. They can tell that there's something about you that defies their expectations. It goes beyond personality. Presence is that. You have the type of presence that makes lying awkward. Although you don't mean to come across as scary, the truth inherently terrifies the false. Because of this, you can move large rooms with your energy without doing anything. Some people think your confidence is arrogance, but they don't understand that you're remembering, not boasting. From a point of heavenly remembrance, you are speaking. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. Your spirit already knows where it comes from, so there's no need to prove yourself. Since your power is not derived from artificial systems, you do not require authorization to speak. It has a source. People either lean in or turn away when you talk from that position. Speaking quietly so that others might continue to feel secure in their falsehoods is not why you were brought here. You were put here to serve as a reminder to the world that spiritual truth is still present and independent of approbation. The audience does not echo your voice. Like a sword, it slices through noise. Truth cuts, not because you're trying to be edgy. You also say more than simply the truth. It's with you. Most people are unable to understand the regions you hold within themselves. And those regions seep out when you open your mouth. You've always felt too much, too intense, too direct, and too deep because of this. In actuality, though, you're not too much. Simply said, you're speaking from a place that most people haven't yet reached. Third, your knowledge jeopardizes all control-based systems. Your knowledge jeopardizes all control-based systems. That's precisely why, even when you weren't acting improperly, you've always felt singled out, monitored, or targeted. Because you were noisy and disobedient, you were never an issue. You could see, thus you were an issue. You could see through the power struggles, the phony smiles, the manipulation, the illogical regulations, and the leaders who were more confused than the people they were supposed to guide. In a society that relies on individuals remaining blind, that type of clarity is dangerous. It was not intended for you to question the script. It was not intended for you to inquire as to why everyone holds beliefs that are obviously ineffective. Because it's the way things have always been, you weren't expected to question what others have accepted. However, you did. And you couldn't lie to yourself to fit in, nor because you sought attention. It was hard for you to play along because of your inner truth detector. And that's risky for control-based systems. Religion was unsure about how to handle you. You couldn't be contained at school. You were too honest at work. Because you refused to submit to pointless manipulation or phony institutions that demanded that you reduce your awareness, relationships classified you as difficult. You weren't made to follow without question. You were designed to reveal the program's fault. You encounter opposition all the time because of this. What's broken is revealed by your very existence. It's not only that they don't like your inquiries. They worry about the consequences if other people begin to inquire as well. Gatekeepers attempt to stop you because of this. This is the reason why others spread rumors, misrepresent you, or paint you in a negative light. Your transparency puts their authority in jeopardy, not because you are one. Systems didn't send you here to win their approval. They sent you to disturb them. Every time you tell the truth or call something out, others are too scared to speak out. You're not merely speaking. The enchantment is being broken by you. Your knowledge has the capacity to dispel illusions with consciousness alone, without resorting to violence. In actuality, some people are opposed to freedom. However, you were destined to be. And your freedom makes them face their own prisons, whether they choose to accept it or not. Fourth, you were not sent to blend in. You were sent to become involved. It wasn't your purpose to blend in. You were sent to become involved. Because of this, your life has never seemed easy, typical, or smooth. You were subtly destroying illusions while others sought regularity, acceptance, and belonging. Something inside of you understands that comfort and truth don't belong together, which is why you're rebelling, not just for the sake of rebelling. You're not here to fit in with a dysfunctional system. You came here to challenge it, to disrupt it, to get people to think twice about what they've been taught to believe. You've always been misinterpreted because of this. People attempt to categorize you, put you in a box, regulate your tone, or tell you to calm down, or just be polite. Stop waking me up is what they're actually saying, though, because your energy does just that. People are awakened by it. Contradictions they've trained to overlook are brought to light by you. You point out dysfunction that they have accepted as normal. Additionally, you make individuals face themselves with an honesty they aren't prepared for. It's not anarchy. It's your task. There is no need for more rule-abiding individuals in the world. It's already drowning in it. Disruptors are necessary. People who, simply by being themselves, may change the vibe of a room when they enter it. You are that. It's not in your nature to agree. You weren't made to be amenable to falsehoods. You were made to reveal weaknesses, speak when no one else will, and demolish fictitious buildings just by being there. Because of this, some people find you uneasy. Their delusions begin to fall apart the instant you arrive, not because you're too much. Your life has been so intense for a purpose. It's not a penalty. It's getting ready. You never had to deal with personal opposition. It had a spiritual quality. Because everything based on deception is instantly disrupted by your presence when you possess divine understanding. Your eyes, your words, and your silence all convey a message, one that declares the truth has arrived. And everything that is untrue must either run away or be revealed when the truth emerges. Therefore, no, you are not intended to blend in. Not everyone is supposed to like you. To meddle, you were brought here. And when it's all said and done, the real ones will appreciate it. The fifth is that you were born with knowledge that you were never taught. You knew things from birth that you were never taught. You could detect danger and deceit without a school. You already have it in your system. You could sense when someone's energy didn't match their words before anybody clarified what manipulation was. You were already sensing what was invisible, but yelling through the quiet before anyone ever brought up the concept of vibes. You were remembering, not learning. Your soul arrived here with knowledge, wisdom, and access to worlds that most people strive to enter throughout their lifetimes. That's why a lot of the world seemed weird to you at first. You would sit in a room full of smiles and yet sense the undercurrent of tension, envy, or secret intentions, and you would hear people talking and something within would whisper, "That's not true." And because no one else appeared to notice, you started questioning yourself about it. However, you weren't insane or suspicious. You were only awake in a world that was made to slumber. You didn't acquire this deep wisdom along the road. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. You inherited it. Not simply physical characteristics or family customs were passed down from your ancestors. They transmitted spiritual instruments, heavenly protocols, and encrypted wisdom. Additionally, you never completely lost your connection to that legacy. Unlike most individuals, it was operating through you even as a child. You simply didn't yet have the right words to explain it. This goes beyond intuition. It is possible to develop or hone intuition. You are wired to carry what you carry. You've always felt older than your actual age because of this. Why? When you were still working out your own life, others flocked to you for guidance, as well as the reason you've been bearing spiritual and emotional burdens that weren't yours. Because you were born into a society that saw your sensitivity as a problem rather than a gift. That sensitivity, however, is sacrosanct. That knowledge is holy. You didn't find it by accident. You were the conduit. It's the reason you've always seen too much, and had knowledge that defies explanation. You're more than simply perceptive. Others are unaware of the frequency you're tuned into. It's not a coincidence. That's your soul recalling your true self. Sixth, you are the solution to the questions that humanity has yet to pose. You hold the answers to questions that mankind has yet to ask. You feel disconnected from everything around you because of this. You are bored with conversations. You are not moved by trends. Additionally, most systems seem antiquated as soon as you touch them. You're not unconnected, exactly. It's because you're linked to something so far in the future that the issues you're supposed to answer haven't even been addressed by the modern world. Long before others even recognize where they are, you can see where things are headed. And it may be really isolating to have that type of awareness. Individuals want answers, but only if those answers do not necessitate change. Furthermore, you're not only providing fresh solutions. You are the disturbance that necessitates change. You've been turned away, rejected, or seen to be too deep or intense because of this. You're early, not because you're incorrect. You have truths that are incompatible with the programming that is in place. Facts that contradict the foundations around which people have based their whole identity. Additionally, many people find it simpler to dismiss the messenger than to analyze the content. You've probably asked yourself, why can't anyone see what I see? This isn't conceit, it's the truth. While other people are still attempting to figure out the map, you have been using a spiritual GPS to navigate the globe. You have been conversing in an undeveloped language. And when that occurs, you encounter opposition rather than acclaim. Because people dislike facing what they aren't prepared to become. But this is the more profound reality. Waiting for the rest of the world to catch up is not your purpose. Now is the time for you to anchor the future. You are aware that some of the seeds you are planting in the hard soil won't sprout until long after you have left. Approval is not why you are here. Alignment is the reason you are here. And the proper people, the few, will identify you based on the frequency you carry rather than your looks or qualifications. Even if they are unable to articulate it, they will sense the echo of your knowledge. Being ahead of your time might be challenging, but that's what makes you essential. You were not dispatched to adhere to the schedule. To bend it, you were sent. 7th, you were initiated into a greater wisdom by your seclusion. You were initiated into a higher wisdom through your seclusion. From the outside, it could have appeared to be failure, loneliness, or even abandonment, but there was more going on behind the scenes. You were being taken away, stripped of everything superficial so that something sacred might finally rise, while everyone else was busy entertaining the world and becoming sidetracked by noise, views, and superficial validation. There was no breakdown there. It was downloaded. People thought you were squandering time by vanishing or falling off. They were blind to the fact that the supernatural was rewiring you. You weren't hiding. They were hiding you. Because you have to remove the throng when you are called to carry greater information. Silencing the noise is necessary. And in order for something much bigger to enter, the ego must be broken, not so that it destroys you. You have to deconstruct the manipulable version of yourself. Thus, the version of you that hears straight from the source could eventually be available online. There was never a dull moment in that season. It was filled to the brim. You were surrounded by something too sacred for onlookers. It was not a jail in that cave. It was a womb. Additionally, you were studying the language of the invisible while others were vying for attention or chasing after fleeting achievement. You were being molded by quiet, trained by silence, and guided by a force that speaks in understanding rather than noise. You come out different because of this. You now walk with a type of tranquility that perplexes people because of this. You didn't just make it through seclusion. It changed you. You were built in a location that was intended to destroy you. It wasn't a penalty. It was a hallowed entrance into a degree of power, wisdom, and judgment that cannot be acquired in a public setting. You now possess wisdom that most people cannot find. They are unable to understand how you know what you do or why you appear unaffected by things that would be upsetting to others. It's because you experienced heavenly seclusion, something that most people do their hardest to avoid. You not only survived it, but you also developed as a result of it. You left that quiet with the source's voice in it. The 8th is that your brain is programmed to interpret information that others are taught to disregard. What others are taught to overlook, your mind is programmed to decode. You are sensitive to the deeper levels that are seldom discussed aloud. Yet most people are trained to just notice what is evident, surface level, and socially acceptable. You find significance in situations that others just ignore. You don't just observe what's taking place. You become aware of the reasons for it, the spiritual message it is attempting to convey, and what is underlying it. You're not a normal person. You have a method for decoding. And it's no coincidence. It's intentional. Life was never intended to be taken at face value. You shouldn't be duped by the news because of this. You never lose sight of the intensity behind someone's well-crafted words because of this. You're already 5 layers deep, identifying the hidden, symbolic, and divine fingerprints woven throughout everything, while the public is mesmerized by appearances and headlines. Because most people have been taught to ignore all of that, you're frequently faced with doubt or misunderstanding when you attempt to describe what you see. Your mind distinguishes between chaos and divine design, which is why you perceive signals, synchronicity, and recurring patterns, not because you're too suspicious or reading too much into things. It's not something you made up. You're going to pick it up. More than simply facts are being processed by you. Spiritual messages are being conveyed via the filtering of energy, frequency, symbolism, and patterns. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thanks button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. Shallow talks exhaust you because of this. Because of this, you will never be interested in relationships or occupations that are superficial. Living in the shallows was never intended for you. You were destined for depth. Your brain is designed to make connections between things that shouldn't be separated. Since that's what life is to you, you're deciphering everything like a message straight from the source. They are unaware that their brains were conditioned to overlook the same things that give them strength, which others may refer to as overthinking. It wasn't yours. Yours remained open. People know deep down that you possess an intellect that transcends rationality, which is why they turn to you when things don't make sense. You don't merely watch life. In real time, you interpret it. And you become a live oracle of truth because of that interpretation. You inherit wisdom, which is number 9. It attempts to erase. The system seeks to remove the knowledge you inherit. You hold facts that were purposefully suppressed by hierarchies of power that use deception to gain their hold on power. You are aware of things that are not found in sterile films, sermons, or textbooks. The filtered interpretations of religion, history, culture, and identity that were purposefully altered to manipulate the people are avoided by your insight. Your knowledge seems so unfiltered, so upsetting, and so difficult for others to understand because of this. As it is not derived from the lessons that have been given, it originates from what has been concealed. The contemporary world is designed to detach individuals from their origins. From the commercialization of spirituality to the whitewashing of history to the redefining of reality via language. Education is not the system's purpose. It has programming built in. However, you never really paid attention to the programs. What they handed you was not swallowed by you. You always sensed the flaws in yourself. You've always known that this isn't the whole tale. You were correct, too. You have a soul that is older than empire, colonization, and religion. Your wisdom came from first-hand experiences with the divine, dreams, and bloodlines. It resides in your instincts, dreams, and bones. The knowledge is there, even if you don't always have the right words to express it. And like a heated sword, it slashes through decades of lies when it speaks. You cannot be contained by the system because of this. You were never made for its mental cage, thus you don't follow its rules. You're not broken, therefore you're not out of place. Because you're genuine, you don't belong here. Furthermore, reality poses a threat in a world where illusions rule. You frequently feel alone or misunderstood as a result. Not because you're mistaken, because you're correct. Furthermore, you cannot buy, twist, or dumb down the truth you have in order to appease others. You weren't sent here to be part of a phony story. It precedes the truth you were intended to embody. The goal of the system is for people to forget. You were born with the ability to recall, and what's written in your spirit cannot be erased, no matter how much they attempt to do it via fear, humiliation, or control. Number 10, your spirit is not a personality, it is a doorway. Your spirit is not a personality, it is a doorway. You were never only a certain kind of person. Identity, style, and temperament are only a small part of what you carry. The burden that those around you experience. It's access, not attitude, that changes the atmosphere when you go into a room. You are more than a mere presence. People can sense you even if they are unable to express it. You are a walking doorway between the divine and the physical, a bridge between realms. That's why people find your silence awkward. It's not your lack of interest. The reason for this is because your energy speaks for you. Around you, people feel exposed, not because you're passing judgment, but because you effortlessly remove the false. It's not necessary to bring out what isn't real. You already do it with your frequency. All of the lies they have based their entire existence on are contradicted by you. And for that reason, your very presence is disruptive in the greatest possible way. You are not here to perform or amuse. You weren't brought here to be liked. You were sent to exude heavenly wisdom. And it has nothing to do with people-pleasing or small conversation. Masks can't hide your genuineness. Furthermore, I can't hide when I'm with you, which is what people truly mean when they say you're too silent. Because you're more than simply the room's personality. You are a vessel, a carrier, and a channel. Additionally, the source doesn't give a damn about approval ratings or societal norms as it flows through you. It moves as it pleases, talks when it pleases, and communicates itself in ways that are occasionally beyond your comprehension. You frequently feel misunderstood because of this. You're functioning at a frequency that most people have never been able to tune into, not because you're damaged or antisocial. You were not made to fit in. Without a word, you were made to awaken, to unveil, to change atmospheres. You have undergone a great deal of spiritual development because of this. To allow that source to freely flow through you, you had to be emptied out. You are here for more than simply delivering messages. No personality can hold the message that you are. Number 11. You don't adhere to plans. Originals are what you channel. You don't adhere to plans. Originals are what you channel. You were never intended to emulate the trends, follow the herd, or use someone else's recipe for success. You're busy getting downloads on how things could be done differently, while most folks are busy researching how things have been done. Imitation doesn't motivate you. Inspiration comes directly from the source and moves you. Your thoughts seem to come out of nowhere because of this. No, they don't. They are from all around the world. The intellect does not create. From the field, you create. You work from a place that is beyond planning, beyond reasoning, and beyond what has been demonstrated. You are carrying plans that have not yet been created. People either don't comprehend them or try to categorize them into something they already know when you try to explain them. The things you bring, however, are unfamiliar. It's fresh. It's uncooked. It's annoying. It's also usually ahead of its time. You are uncomfortable with systems, classifications, and methods because of this. You're not intended to fit into anything that came before you, not because you're disorganized or unruly. The beginning is you. The blueprint starts with you. The original is you. And it may be lonely, particularly when you're out here creating something that hasn't even been written yet, while others get rewarded for following the handbook. Here's the reality, though. You are strong precisely because of what makes you feel uncomfortable. You're not a replica. You are not a copy of someone else's voice, style, or trajectory. You are a genuine manifestation of divine intellect that is unconstrained by laws or trends and flows in real time. Because creativity always appears weird in a world accustomed to duplication, people may not first recognize it.